guys, welcome to this For Whoever reading. Let's jump in and see what messages want to come through. Messages for whoever needs to receive this message. Hope you all are doing well. Messages for whoever needs this. Okay, we have kisses, love, unconditionally loving, giving and receiving affection, falling in love. Okay, so this might be a period of time where you might be beginning a new relationship, or you might be reigniting a current relationship. And maybe you're just kind of now going out more. Maybe you're going on dates and getting things, going again. Or you're just putting yourself out there and you're finding, that you're having a lot of fun with someone, and maybe this could be something serious. Let's get some more information on this. I have the Thief. Okay, so this might have been a situation where, you feel like time kind of escaped you a little bit. Maybe you feel like you've been robbed of a little bit of experience, okay? Like I said, this is a natural feeling that you may have in a current partnership, or maybe in a new relationship, or maybe you're struggling to find that new relationship and you're feeling a type of way about, things, just kind of dying off a little bit, and so they need to be reignited. Let's go further into this and see exactly what's happening so that I can get clear on some guidance for you and maybe what you're not seeing in this situation, because this could play out a few ways. Messages for whoever needs this. Messages for whoever needs this. Okay, I have passion and purpose. Okay, so again, this might be something where, you really feel like maybe time has gotten away from you. Maybe a relationship just isn't exactly what you thought it was. Maybe things are trying, you're been in a relationship for a while, and you used to go out all the time, you used to snuggle, you used to hang out, you used to watch movies, you used to go to dinner, and maybe those things aren't exactly happening anymore. And so you're finding some kind of trying to find an understanding of what's exactly happening here, and maybe how to reignite that passion. Maybe you're just feeling like this time has been a little bit, taken from you. And so you're wanting to see, well, how can I make that change? You also may be someone who's single, who's been saying, hey, I've been out there, been putting myself out there. I've been engaging in these dates and, with these people. And, I'm just not really finding that things are working out. I'm finding that, we hit a dead end, things end for a reason. I'm not finding that passion that, I'm really seeking to have with someone. Let's continue on and see. I have blessings, prayers heard. Okay, so this could be, that you've put out a prayer to the universe for a loving relationship. Again, you might have even put out a prayer to the universe for things in your current relationship to kind of change and get that spark going again, okay? Maybe you're looking for some, intuitive guidance on, what to do regarding this situation. Maybe you're a little bit confused of, hey, we have a really busy life. I don't really know how to reignite a passion within, a marriage or a partnership that I've been in for a while. And so I've put a prayer out, in just a desperate hope that maybe something will come to me so that things can change. This may also be, again, in a situation where you're single and you've been dating for a while and you're just not finding things, are working out for you. And so you're kind of like, am I going to stay single forever? I keep putting myself in these, out there trying to do something new, trying to be my best self. I'm having a really good time, but then I'm finding that they're not really turning into long-term relationships that would be lasting or fulfilling. And so you're putting a prayer out to the universe of saying, hey, I really would like a long-term relationship. Can you please help me out with this? Let's look further into this with the tarot so I can get more details. Let me get the overall energy of the situation, please. Overall energy, please. Overall energy, please. I have the Four of Wands. Okay, so things are a little bit stable. This might be indicative of a current relationship. And you've built a family, you built a foundation. Things are really solid and stable, but maybe they're just a little too stable. Okay, let's take a look at the recent past, see what's happening here. Recent past in this situation, please. I have the Devil. Okay, so things may have started out really passionately, really fast, really good, and then, things really died off. And so now you might be feeding into a little bit of an energy where, you're thinking, this is the end. Should I just end this? I'm not happy with this. I'm not enjoying this. Should I just end this? What's happening here? Okay, let's take a look at the present energy. Present energy, please. I have the Five of Cups. So you are feeling a little bit sad and disappointed with this particular situation and how it's playing out for you, okay? So, this looks like, this could even be playing out in a long-term relationship or partnership or marriage where, things were really stable, but things kind of fizzled out. And in order to kind of achieve that sense of fulfillment and passion, so, within yourself again, you or your partner may have stepped out of that relationship or marriage and maybe found that it wasn't exactly what you thought it would be. And so now you're just kind of saying, I really want to reignite this passion in this situation. And how can I do that? But, you're really sad at how things are playing out because you maybe are just not really feeling very hopeful for the future. Maybe, you are that person that's out there dating. And maybe because these situations haven't played out the way you've hoped for, and maybe people have really done you wrong, you're just really focusing on a little bit of sadness here. Okay. And that's okay to feel. Let's take a look at the near future. Near future in this situation, please. I have the star. Okay, so here in the near future, that wish that you put out to the universe is being heard and will likely be granted. There's going to be healing in this situation, whatever it is that's playing out here, okay? So that prayer that you put out for, whatever outcome you're hoping for in this situation, looks like your wish is going to come true and there's going to be healing that's going to be evoked in this situation, okay? Let's take a look at some advice and see what advice you have here. Advice, please. Advice regarding this situation, please. I'm going to be really clear on this advice for you. This situation, isn't easy. I have the advice of the Ten of Pentacles here. Okay, so this is just saying, stay focused on that family situation, that family dynamic. Take a look at, what's really happening here and, look at how solid and stable and far you've come. The Ten of Pentacles doesn't just happen overnight. This is something that we take a long time to build and establish. And this likely involves, a family, like I said, or a long-term partnership or marriage. And so this is advice to you is saying, hey, make sure that you're understanding that things really are better than what they seem. We go through different seasons in life where we get really busy. We have a lot of responsibilities. Life really asks a lot of us. And so, unfortunately, what can come along with that is a little bit of neglect in regards to our relationships. We even neglect ourselves. And so we will easily neglect our relationships in that department of finding fulfillment within each other again. And so this is just saying, hey, things are better than what they appear right now. So just maybe ride through this season of life and maybe you can come up with some creative new ideas on how you guys can spice things up again and reignite that passion once again so that you can get things, back to a place where you found them once before fulfilling. Okay. Let's take a look at what's hidden here in case there's something you're not seeing that would prove helpful to you. What's hidden in this situation, please? What's hidden in this situation? I have the hermit. Okay, so this feeling might be making you just kind of go inside a little bit, inside of yourself, which is understandable when we're in a situation that we don't really know what to do with, but we're feeling that uncomfortability of it and we're very unclear, especially when you're dealing with a long-term relationship or marriage, especially if it involves kids. Um, it can really make you have a lot of mixed emotions and mixed thoughts, mixed everything. And so you need to really kind of, take a step back and get into your own energy so that you can get more clear on what's actually happening here. We're going to go through seasons where maybe things just aren't exactly as passionate or playful or fun in our relationships as they once were. And we're kind of daydreaming back to how things used to be. But really, things aren't normally as bad as they seem. And typically, when you're with someone, they kind of want the same thing too. Chances are pretty good that your person is feeling the same exact way you are. And so there's likely a solution to this. Let's take a look at the near future and see what plays out. near future regarding this situation, please? Near future. I have the Three of Pentacles. So it looks like you guys can actually work things out. It looks like there's a solid situation here or relationship that you've engaged in and put a lot of time and energy in, that you guys, if you get creative and you have these open conversations with someone, chances are pretty good, like I said, that they're feeling the same type of way with you and they actually want to make this work. So they're going to be willing to put in the time and energy. So you may have to kind of put your heads together and come up with some ideas and get creative about making time and space for that so that you can then reinvest in that relationship and that romance between you two so that that partnership can kind of, you know, evolve again. So it looks like chances are pretty good that this person will be willing to, you know, engage with that and put forth the time and energy to get things where it would be, you know, emotionally and passionately fulfilling for you as well. Okay. So it looks like if you just kind of go within yourself, get really clear on what it is you want, truly what you want, and have some ideas to bring to the table, then you can be in a really good place where you're going to be calm and you're going to be able to, you know, bring forth this conversation with this person, and you're going to be able to express how you've been feeling and what you're hoping to achieve and throw out those ideas and have that open conversation. Just make sure that you have it in a place and a time where, you know, things are quiet and you're not going to be, you know, overtly interrupted so that you guys can just take time to get your emotions out. This can be a very tender situation, especially when you're dealing with long-term situations and families. Okay. So just take your time on this. And things look promising if you both put in the time and energy to it. Things can really be reignited once again. I hope you found this reading to be helpful. And until I see you the next time, take care.